Hi everyone, Shayna J, One Heart Mission, and I'm here talking with one of my wonderful friends that I've been working with for over a year now, Melissa Glorieux, and I'm just so grateful that she accepted my invitation. A little bit about her: she is an amazing mother, a just adoring wife, and activist in her community. She's a mermaid swimmer with her goddess sisters. She is a, a seeker. I would say on every level. She just loves the truth. And she has been living in and dancing around mastering the moment for the whole time that I've known her in this last year. And so we want to hear some of her experiences with that. So, hi, Melissa. Thanks so much for being here.
Hi, thanks for asking me. I appreciate it. It's
You're
fun
so
here with
welcome.
you.
You're so welcome. So, in I'm so focused on this topic this year, and so grateful that I get to focus on this year, because really we're living in a time that's very auspicious on one hand and super challenging on another hand, and pretty much everything in between.
Yeah.
So, what experiences can you say are some of the challenges that you've had with living in the moment, or even offering, to some of your friends? Have you thought about, just kind of being in the moment with the situation, and what's happened with that for you?
Yeah, I would say this last almost year has been a super big challenge living in the moment. But I do notice that when I am living in the moment, it's less challenging. So that's really nice. I guess, you know, a lot of us read the news or listen to I don't know, it's not really news, but the information coming towards us, and it can get us really stressed out about the future and about even the very near future. And I have found that the days when I am not on the media and I'm just doing my art or playing in nature or puttering around the house with my kids, all things that are sort of in the moment activities, that life seems a lot better. Life seems great on those days, but on the days when I'm talking to a lot of friends who are looking at a lot of media, or I'm looking at a lot of media, um, and just worrying about big problems that can't be solved immediately, that's been a real challenge. And I guess for me, it's always just go for a swim, go do art, go for a walk, take a nap, things like that. That's been what I've had to do. And that seems to be what works really well. And then also meditate. Meditate's always good.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That is wonderful. Well, so you've got an automatic response mechanism in you, where most people I talk to seem to be like, oh my God, what else can I do besides worry about the future or what's going on, in the world around us? And it's not an automatic thing for them, where to go to nature or to continue your art project, which is behind you, which is, I love the way, I can't wait to see what it's going to be when it's finished. um and and so they struggle with that, staying in their mind and in their head and in their what they think they have to do to solve the problem or help to solve the problem, or how can they help to solve the problem, rather than realize what you just said, which is you can't solve that problem. Maybe you can at some point, but not today. And besides, really, it's not a personal problem for you to solve. How it affects you definitely is your personal your
Yeah.
personal problem to solve. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that exact thing on the ride on I went to yoga this morning, and on the ride home I was thinking about how I happened to see a video. I didn't watch the video, but I saw the headline of a video, and I've been thinking about it ever since, and I'm like, geez, what can I do about that? But I keep thinking there really isn't anything I can do about it. So I keep going back to what my job is. And, when I go swimming with my mermaid sisters, we always do intentions before we go in the water. My intention is to keep my vibration high, which that's basically my number one job right now. I mean, other than feeding my kids. That's what that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
I completely agree with that. And I love that. That's so, besides having your automatic of dealing with your own emotions that might come up around all the stuff that we're dealing with in the world, be to go to nature, go to creativity, go to the water. That's so automatic for you. And I'm really honoring that and and I'm gonna dovetail. That is the whole last year. I was asking the question, how may I serve? How may I serve in the situation that we're in,
Mhm.
knowing that I'm not a fighter and knowing that I have to live peacefully. It's too painful to live any other way.
Right.
And so finally, at the end of the year, it was, I think, just before I did the Consciously Completing 2020 course to really allow people a space to complete what this has meant to them this past year.
Mhm.
And I kept getting this little, the way you serve is the way you've always served. Keep the conversation alive.
Yeah.
And the conversation that I'm choosing to keep alive right now is mastering the moment. So, this road to living in the moment is not an easy one.
No, it's
Yeah,
very challenging.
it's super challenging. And so, in the challenges, I mean, that's what I kind of want to talk about for a little while, just to kind of flesh out, well, not only what challenges do you see for yourself, but what challenges do you see for others? And do you find it valuable to actually offer this as mastering the moment or living in the moment or being present as a solution for anyone around you?
Well, yeah, definitely. I think that is the solution. However, I feel like it's just my nature, or a lot of the nature, most of the people I know, to kind of go in cycles, that's the problem, is like you can have some days in a row or I'll have some days in a row where I'm meditating, doing my things that we talked about and feeling great. And then something will come along. Like for me, some of the things that keep coming up are, oh God, will I ever get to travel freely again? Like that can really throw me for a loop. If I start thinking about that,
Yeah,
watch out. It can
yeah,
take me
yeah,
down.
me too. Yeah.
Yeah. And oh, I have young kids. What will their futures be like? That can take me down, like, so I have a lot of these big questions, and I'm sure other people have. Will my business ever get to be open? Will I ever get to eat in a restaurant? Um, can we trust our news again? Can we trust our government again? All these questions.
Right.
And
They're big questions.
they're big questions, and you can't just like figure out the answer. It's not like you could just be like, oh, okay, I'm going to sit down and figure this one out.
Right.
It's sort of, you got to just wait. So,
Yeah,
uh,
you can't really have your own game plan. I mean, you can sort of have your own game plan, but there's so many factors involved that are outside of you
yeah.
for all of that. So so this is okay. So what would be your game plan? This is what I'm pointing to.
Yeah. Well, for me, my game plan is to make I am someone who's always had a really big world. Like I've always traveled a ton. Um, I'm always going places and doing things, but in the last year, my world's gotten smaller.
Okay, you broke up a little bit, so we're just gonna hold that
It's not getting
thought.
small and yucky. It's getting, okay.
You just broke up a little
My,
bit. So you were saying my world has gotten smaller.
yeah, I feel like my world has gotten smaller, but I've been able to put more focus on this part of the world. This part of the world that I'm in that is small, is a part that I kind of neglected a lot before. So it's been fun to give it some attention that it
Very
didn't get
nice.
before. So the question is, how am I staying in the moment, or is what I forget where I was going with
Yeah,
this.
the challenges, yeah.
Yeah, the challenges. Um, I think kind of, as someone who's been alive for as long as I have, living the way I have, life is very different right now. Like, um, it's so much slower. So, I just really think doing like the activities I like to do, like going swimming in freezing cold water, like 40-degree water, that's really,
That's a
focusing.
challenge.
You're very focused. So if I have these like little pockets during the day of really focused time, it's kind of nice. Like I'll be in my world where I'm, being a mother, being a partner, and being a dog owner, all these things that I am, but then I go do these other things. So they kind of like, they give me that adrenaline or that excitement that I used to get from like traveling to cities and eating delicious food or going on a big trip. But now I'm getting these from like swimming in the cold water with my girlfriends. But I come back and I'm more interested in being focused on my smaller world. Um, I think it's surrendering a little and not fighting against the whole situation we're in has
I
been,
totally agree.
yeah. I feel like surrendering is not like my go-to position usually.
Right.
So I think that's been what I've had to do a lot. And it's not always easy, but I think that I feel like I'm the happiest when I'm able to.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love your saying that. It really speaks to my heart because I've noticed that too for myself. My world has gotten smaller too and
Mhm.
more focused. And just the other day it got very clear. Wow, my days are really focused on self-care.
Mhm.
Is like, what am I thinking right now? What am I consciously churning in my own uh, unconscious that I'd like for it to become conscious?
Mhm.
And everything right now is about me becoming more conscious. And I find that the energetic vibration that follows that is really, really nice.
Mhm.
So, not being so outward focused is, bringing us more to what we seek in the world, our spiritual growth and our how may we serve on a bigger level when the time is right, like when the dust settles from the chaos, where can we show up, and where we show up in our strength,
Yeah.
where we show up in our beauty, our glory, our wisdom, our leadership.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That
very
makes me
exciting.
think that like if we're having this time to do self-care or to be a little more focused on whatever our small world is, it's like we're flexing our muscle or we're like exercising that muscle so
Yeah,
that when the time comes, that muscle will be stronger. Um,
right.
and then also I feel like you, my intention, like I said, is always to have a high vibration. That's my intention. And I feel like um, those of us that can, stop reading the news and focus on smaller, more close in topics, I feel like we are raising the vibration. And that's the whole point of this, I think, is for, you know, hopefully the world is changing, and hopefully all of us who are doing this work are helping that happen. And I really think that, like, I want to keep my
Yeah.
vibe high for my family, but I also want to keep my vibe high so that I'm doing my job. Like, I don't feel like I can go alter the government, but I feel like I can keep my vibration high, and I feel like that matters.
Right, exactly. I completely agree. In fact, the energetics of the matrix of the world
Mm-hmm.
is when you tap into that, you get something that you wouldn't normally get. And this year has forced us, whether it be meditation or self-care or anything to grow our internal strength, I feel has really given us the foundation of the fertile ground that we will need when our time does come.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll all know it. You know, like I've been, this is my 24th year. And I remember because I fell off of a cliff, on a specific date. So I'm coming up on that date, which will begin my 24th year of living in the moment, living in divine oneness, and learning alongside the way I'm living it. Like, these are my ideas. No, no, they're not my ideas. Okay, yes, they are. They were my ideas. Can they change? Of course they can change. No, I want to resist the change. No, I want it to be the way it's always been. And all these silly internal questions that we have. But on a bigger picture, what's exciting is that for 24 years, we've energetically shifted our vibration. We have prayed for the world to awaken.
Mm-hmm.
We have prayed in groups, not just by ourselves, but in massive amount of groups. And we have actually seen the numbers of crime, like crime for one thing, go down when a mass is praying. And if you notice, there's no war happening right now. There's
Nice.
no war.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And that's my main thing I'm so grateful for, because I have been praying for peace. I don't pray to end war. I pray for peace, peace in ourselves, peace in our hearts, for our hearts to grow. And wow, we're actually living with no war right now. Maybe a little chaos,
Yeah. It's chaos.
but no real war with other countries. And I'm very grateful for that. So I feel like we have set the groundwork for so many years, and many more before me,
Mm-hmm.
where we can go to the next level right now.
Yeah.
And maybe, all of us asking that question, what's my next level, has shown us, oh, this is the next level. I don't know. I'm just kind of supposing right here.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and so having your own structures be nice and strong,
Mm.
and internally, you know, built to a point where you at least know who you are. You know your vibration. You know your commit. You know your intention. Like you said, I know my intention.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome that you can actually say that. How many of your friends know their intention in the world? You
Well, the
know,
ones I swim with do, because we do it all the time. But
well, I guess you get really clear when you're in 40-degree water.
we thought it was 39, and then we found out it was 40. I was like, oh, but
Okay, can you handle that?
yeah.
So let's say then, what would you feel that some of the values are for living in the moment? How does it serve you? How does it improve you or your world? Or what would you say about that?
Well, I feel like for me, what I've noticed is when I'm able to live in the moment, I'm less, I don't like to say I'm anxious, but I don't have less of that like stress feeling inside.
Yeah, sort of a negative adrenaline rush.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, And that really impacts what kind of mom I am, and also husband and friend. But I mostly, wave in and out of guilt over my mothering, not so much my friend being a friend sometimes, and sometimes being a wife. But you know, um, that when I can be in the moment, I have less of that anxiety feeling, because I'm only trying to do what I'm trying to do right now. I'm not trying to like solve the world's problems. That's always nice.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you
and
feel like it's a difference between living in your heart and living in your head?
yeah, I feel like it's like, yeah, heart, like it's here. It's here, definitely here. Like,
Yeah, because what you said just made me feel like, oh, maybe we're thinking too much, trying to solve something that we can't solve. So we're just thinking too much.
yeah. Yeah. Well, you know this about me, but I've always had a time issue. Like for me, it's always like there's not enough time. And apparently there's plenty of time, but I cannot access
What
that.
did 2020 teach you?
You mentioned that there's infinite amounts of time, but yet sometimes I'm still short on it. I don't know.
Or you're not sure about it?
But for me, I mean, for a while I was wondering if I had caused this whole thing, because I really was craving, universe, I need more time. Universe, I need time to slow down.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm probably not the only person who was saying those things.
No,
So
I'm sure, but still, it could be very personal like that.
yeah, it felt very personal, but I feel like it has been, I know this isn't the case for a lot of people, but our particular family has benefited from this time, this downtime, this slower time, this less demands time.
Yeah.
And the values are just, I just feel like it's, I can focus on instead of trying to socialize with the entire island that I live on, or or everybody, I'm trying to focus on my kids and my few friends. Like, I just feel like the gifts of this, the value has been, and just not to reiterate the same thing, but I just feel like it really has brought the focus in. I know where to spend my energy. It's almost like my time is more focused. So I feel like it's a little bit looser. I have more time because I only am not trying to focus on as many things.
Right. That's key.
Yeah. Yeah. Had an idea for when you said the word value, but it's eluding me right now. But I guess one of the things I thought about was, and this, I mean, this is an idea, this is something I try to do, and I don't do this all the time, but like to make that commitment to living in the moment. That's the whole, if you don't want to live, like, it's not our nature to live in the moment particularly, and it's very hard to live in the moment. It's work. I mean, maybe someday I won't think that, but right now I do think that.
Uh-huh.
So for me, it's sort of like making commitment and being like, do I want to live in the moment and feel good, or do I want to run around like a chicken, worrying about all these problems? So it's kind of like, it's like discipline. It's a little bit of
Yes.
self-discipline. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's what I was thinking about. Discipline has a element of
So
that.
you're saying one of the values is gaining more discipline in the way you interact with your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very key.
Yeah.
Very important. Wow. And the commitment. I love the word commitment. I also love the word responsibility, because in order to have a commitment, we have to be responsible to it
Mm-hmm.
and responsible to all of the choices that we make inside the commitment that are not even aligned with it, and
Mm-hmm.
those that are aligned. And then that gives you a new discipline. It was so beautiful what you just said.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful.
Hmm.
So, is there anything else that you'd like to say just to wrap this up about about living in the moment, being present, or mastering the moment as a new way of being, maybe.
One of the things, I mean, I guess if it were easy, everybody would be doing it, you know?
Right.
So I guess one of the things I've had to learn or am learning in the process of learning is not everybody's on the same page.
Right.
That is a hard lesson to learn because once you get it and once you know, or I know for me that it's the right way to be, you know, you think, well, they should know it too. So it's hard, you know, you're still living in the world with all the people who do all the things they do. And so I have a little bit of a tendency to be a smarty pants, you know, so it's been, it's been, I'm working on it. Believe me, I'm working on it. It's not easy,
Okay. I love that about you.
but just like to understand that not everybody's there, you
Yeah.
know, to have compassion and patience and a sense of humor for the people who aren't there that you're living amongst.
Yeah.
So that's been,
Okay, so I have another question that popped in, as that I would like for you to wrap this up with.
uh,
Can you envision yourself as one day you are there? And what might that feel like and look like for you?
yeah, I can totally imagine that. I imagine that all the time.
Oh,
Um,
good. I'd love to hear that.
it just feels like, you know, I can, you know, the days when you go grocery shopping and you chit chat with the checkout girl and you laugh, and then you're driving down the street and you let somebody in and then they wave. And then you get home and somebody helps you unpack the car. You know, those days when you're in the flow?
Yeah,
That's what it's like, gonna be like. It's gonna be like that all the time.
all the
That's,
time,
yeah,
right,
or
right.
most of the time. Yeah,
Oh,
that's,
that's so beautiful. And yes,
yeah,
that's a great vision to hold for
yeah.
us, that
I
we
love
can
those days.
actually and create it the way we want, you know.
Mhm.
That's your way. Mine is similar to what you just said, where because I do live like that a lot of my day. In fact, you just described my day yesterday.
It's a good day.
Yeah. And then unexpected things can happen, you know, like the things that you were going to do for yourself, somebody just shows up and does for you.
Yeah.
And that's when you know there's a harmonious energy happening around you and you created it.
It just feels like you're in the canoe in going with the
You're
current, you
going
know,
with the flow in the
and
river.
it's going
Yeah.
right where you want to go anyway. So it's
That
like,
you can't go opposite.
right. Yeah. That's how it
Try
feels.
going upstream. I don't know. You know, those salmon really infatuate me how they do that.
Yeah. Their
They
whole purpose
do.
in life is to go not with the flow.
And they do it, and they're so committed. And I for a long time I patterned my life after thinking about the salmon, how they go upstream, and they're just extraordinary. And of course their flavor when they let you catch them, it's
They're
just like,
delicious.
wow.
That's awesome. Yeah. Tasty salmon. Hmm.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank
It
you
was fun
so
to talk to you.
much. You're
Thank
just
you.
so
I
full of
love you. Thank you
wisdom
for
and light.
inviting me. Oh, you too. You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank
And
you.
everyone pay attention when, I don't know when this will be posted, but you'll find it because I'll send it directly to you. And thank you for watching. Blessings to you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.